problems abound in our state and for the country. What do you think you can offer Hoosiers that separates you from the other candidates?
Our campaign here is about the people. We've come out of the people with the Tea Party and the 9/12ers. I look to work to getting us back to the Constitution. This is something I carry with me everywhere I go. And it's the Constitution. This is our playbook. Who we are as a people is defined right in here. It's not about party. It's not about special interest groups. It's about we as a people, as a republic. And I will work to get us back to the republic that we were, that we grew out of, and who we were meant to be as a people.
Mr. Behney, where do you stand on illegal immigration?
Oh, that's my favorite. We have already been all over the state, and I have to say that is one of the most popular questions that I get. And it's not that we get it when we're in the whole group forum, but it's the question that people ask when they stand in line and we have an opportunity to have some one-on-one, eye-to-eye, direct eye-to-eye contact. And so that is a strong concern. And I've spent a lot of time working on that. It's a huge problem. First of all, I believe that our borders should be protected. There are folks around the world that wish to kill us and to harm us at the least. And it's not that we're looking to turn the light off at the front door, but we do also want folks to come through the front door so we know who they are. I believe we already have, I would like to enforce the laws we already have on the books, and if we did that, that would go a long way. I'd also like to have more pressure on our businesses that are not hiring illegal aliens. Then there's also the issue of all the illegals that we already have in this nation, and the problems that is causing with our economy, and you know, we have the health care concerns and those kinds of things. And I believe we need to ask those folks to head back across the border and come back in the front door.
Okay. Our Capitol building in Washington, D.C. is filled to the brim with people who went to Washington with the idea that they can go and make a difference. Why do you think you will be a person that can go there and not be sucked into party politics?
A very fair question. And I agree with that. We've had good men and women. Granted, I believe, as I've heard all across the state, that many believe, yes, there are bad people who have gone, who intend to do bad things. But there have been many good people who have gone, and they just get kind of sucked into those kinds of things. That is why today I'm running as a Republican candidate for the United States Senate, but I'm not a party guy. That upsets the party. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to play the party politics. That's step number one. Also, I believe in term limits. My first bill will be in term limits, 2 terms for a senator. I will ask for a reduction in the salary. That would be just a great step. And especially in the times that we're in right now, a message to the people. Also, I would like to work at and look at how we can make the pay more performance-based pay, just like we work here in the real world. You know, you get the job done, you get paid. You know, I'm around campaigning now, asking folks for money, and it's an awkward thing because in the real world, we do the job, then you get paid. But in D.C., you get paid, and then you may do the job. So I would like to look at those kinds of things. Also, they have a job where, as a senator, I spend 6 years there, and then I get a salary for the rest of my life. We want to cut that. Nowhere else do we have that kind of experience. Also, they get health care for the rest of their life. We also want to put them in a position where the laws abide to them the same way they abide to us. That's the first thing I'll work towards.
Okay. If you could turn back time, which one of our founding fathers would you want to speak to, and why?
That's a good one. Which one of our founding fathers? And the question is founding fathers.
Correct.
I would like if not to speak with them, but to be involved in the conversations of the 2 friends, Jefferson and Adams. Here you had on Jefferson, you had a guy that was leaned towards the most limited government as possible, And then Adams, well, we need some government and laws. And I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall and listened to those sides as friends when they met in the pub, and they had their friendly debate and those kinds of discussions. I would have enjoyed that.
Now tell me why.
Why? To see that debate worked out. Here was a time where you had a people that, the American experience is unique in the world experience. For the first time in the history of the world, a people were saying, we are free because we're endowed by our Creator, not by some kind of government. And then you put it, as you're trying to figure that out, well, how are you free, and how do you control that freedom at the same time still having freedom? And what does that look like? And you had two different personalities. They had two different personalities, and they came out of two different schools of thought, but yet they were brothers. They were American brothers trying to figure this out. It would have been fun to listen to that. As we have those same, and I think we're in that position today, as a people. Again, even though we've already fought those fights, here we are. We're trying to determine whether we're a free people or are we slaves. Are we endowed by our Creator with individual rights, or are the rights given to us from our government? And we're having those discussions today.
Aside from God and family, who would you say has been most influential in helping you to be the person you are today?
That's a good question, fun question. Yes, certainly I've had family members, and God's a big influence in my life. Looking back, I would say there is a family that came into my life at a time when I needed, when I was a young man coming right out of the service, 19, 20 years of age, as young men often are at that age, a little lost into the world, trying to figure out right and wrong, what's best, good, those kinds of things. And there was a family that was a business family, and a very strong family of faith. And they took me in, literally took me in. I was living in an apartment that had little heat in the middle of the winter, and was very, very cold, had little food, and they literally took me in their home, gave me their master bedroom, and they took the other bedroom, and I wound up working for this family, and that's where I learned business. I learned life, I learned relationships, and it was a very wonderful time. And to this day, there are members of that family that I, in my mind, will ask, what would so-and-so do about this? Or how would so-and-so react or behave in this situation to this day? So I'm blessed to have known that family.